Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and my family and I are on a financial freedom journey. I share all about that and more on my channel every single week. And today we're going to be talking about our vacation budget recap. I'm going to be breaking down exactly what we spent money on for our vacation. I also did this last year and a lot of you guys seem to really enjoy this video, so I thought I would film it again for this year. This was our second time going to Florida with my sister. We went last year as well. It was such an amazing time and really cost effective to split a vacation with another family. I have personally realized how beneficial that is over the last year with our vacation last year, just how much money we were able to save by splitting the Airbnbs together between our two families. And it's also just really amazing to have that time with my sister and her family. So it has been amazing. We love it. Hoping to continue going. I can barely plan my months at a time, so I am not looking into next year quite yet, but hoping to continue this tradition. So a little bit about the vacation before I get into the breakdown of exactly what we spent. So we did go to Florida again. We went to Florida last year. However, this year we did a little bit of a different kind of vacation. Also, if you're interested in my vacation budget from last year, I will link it down below if you guys want to check that out. But this year we actually split the trip into two parts. So last year we had one Airbnb that we stayed at the whole time. This year we actually split it. We were in Orlando for 5 nights, I think that's right. We were in Orlando for the majority of the vacation, and then for the last, 3 nights. The last 3 nights we were in Treasure Island, which is very close to St. Pete. And so it was about, I think it was about a 2-hour drive from Orlando to Treasure Island. And we actually got a house on the beach in Treasure Island. So it was a very different type of vacation, the first half to the second half. The first half we were truly in Orlando, in kind of the city center almost. And our house had a pool. It was great. It was very affordable. If you guys have traveled to Florida before and have looked at Airbnbs, typically the Orlando area is much more affordable. There's just a lot more inventory as far as vacation rentals in that place. So I just think that that's partially why they're so much more affordable there. And so that was kind of why we decided to take the majority of our vacation in Orlando. But we did want to do beaches, and the easiest way to do a beach with a lot of kids, which we have a lot of, we have 7 kids between both of our families, is to be on the beach. So it was very expensive for the 3 nights that we stayed there, but it was also very worth it in my opinion. So that is a little bit of background about our vacation. We also did a lot of excursions and events this time. We went to Disney for 1 day. We went to Animal Kingdom, which was super fun. We also did the Orlando Science Center, mini golf, a bunch of other stuff that I will talk more about when we get into the actual budget. So let's go ahead and break it down so that you guys can see exactly what we spent on this vacation. All right, so obviously I'm going to skip over the income source section because we did not have any income that related to this vacation except for obviously the sinking fund that we have. So one way that my husband and I save for vacations is we have a vacation sinking fund that we contribute to every single month. And anytime we get any sort of lump sum of money, if we get a tax refund or if we get a bonus, we always put a chunk of it to our vacation sinking fund. That's just a way that we've been able to save up a larger chunk of money in our vacation sinking funds for our vacations, which has been really nice. And it's nice to have all of that money set aside. I will say we did go a little bit over what I had anticipated spending. So our vacation sinking fund went a little bit negative, but it's already back up with our contribution from this month. So it wasn't very negative. It was just a little bit over, which is totally fine. Obviously, when you're traveling, it's hard sometimes to judge exactly how much you're going to be spending. So the way that I wanted to break this out is actually I did an Orlando breakout, a Treasure Island breakout, and then a miscellaneous breakout. So I am going to kind of categorize them that way. So first category will be our Orlando trip. So obviously we had to get the house booked. So that was our first thing that we had to pay for in Orlando. And we had spent $725. Now keep in mind, like I said, we did travel with my sister and her family. So this is half of what the rental was. So it was nice that we were able to save money by going in on it together. It was a very large house. It was super nice and it had a great pool. So definitely a great value in my opinion for the 5 nights, I think it was 5 nights, 5 nights in Orlando and then 3 nights in Treasure Island. And then we left really, really early on that day that we checked out. We left at like 4 a.m. So it was super early. But $725 is what we spent on the house in Orlando. Another thing we did in Orlando was mini golf. We only had to spend $20 on this. It was really affordable. We didn't have to pay for my youngest two, and then my son did it and my husband did it, I think. So it was only $20 between what we had to pay for. I did not participate. I'm not a huge mini golfer. I was there, but I did not mini golf. Not my cup of tea. Just an event that we could do that kind of kept them from getting bored. We also went to the Orlando Science Center, and that was really fun. So we actually did a different thing than my sister. She actually went to Disney 2 days and we only wanted to go 1. So the day that we did not go to Disney that she did, we went to the Orlando Science Center. For all of us to get in, it was about $115, and it was really cool. Like, I would highly recommend it if you're in Orlando and kind of need something that's like an indoor activity. You could definitely spend a few hours there. I think we were there for like 4 hours, I want to say. They had a really cool like IMAX movie that we watched that was like 40 minutes. And then they just have a bunch of like really fun things that your kids can do. I will try to, throughout this video, I will try to insert some like pictures and videos so you guys can kind of see what we did. But yeah, it was really fun. Awesome. I would definitely go again if we were in Orlando and needed something to do. Yeah. Really cool, and I thought it was pretty affordable. We did have to pay for parking, which I will talk about in the later half of this video when I talk about like our miscellaneous expenses. And lastly, in Orlando, we did Disney, and that was $667, and that was just for the 1 day. So yeah, pretty crazy to me that that was how much it was, but that was for 1 day in Animal Kingdom. It was really fun. Was it worth $667? Probably not. But that's coming from somebody who's not a huge Disney fan. I know a lot of you guys really enjoy Disney, so it's just not my like favorite thing. But we did have fun, and it was a good experience with the kids, so I don't regret going. It's like crazy expensive. And next up, I'm gonna break down Treasure Island separately, and then I'll go into like our miscellaneous spending. All right, so Treasure Island specifically, obviously we also had our house rental here, and yes, it is expensive. Okay, I'm gonna say that up front. It was $2,200 for just our family, so that is half of the 3 nights that we were there. But like I said, it was like incredible. I will insert some pictures of like the view from our window. Like, it was on the beach, okay? Like truly on the beach. You walked out, you were in sand. It was incredible. I would absolutely pay this to go again. This is worth it to me. It was so much easier for the kids. We could go back and cook at the house. Like, for example, we grilled out one of the days that we were there, and we just like walked right up and got our food and walked right back, and it was amazing. Highly recommend. Beautiful. And yeah, it was great. The house itself was not like a super amazing layout or anything. It was kind of meh, but you're really paying for like the location here. So that was our biggest expense on the whole trip, was this one house. And the only other thing that was like Treasure Island specific was restaurants. So we spent $178 on restaurants. So in the next section, when I kind of break down like miscellaneous stuff that wasn't really related to one or the other, we primarily ate at home for a large part of this vacation. And a lot of the reason was because it was not only convenient, but it was also way more affordable for us to do that. And so we only spent $178 on restaurants. I feel like that's actually really good. We only went out 2 times, and it was in Treasure Island, and that was because that was kind of the place that we wanted to go. Orlando, in my experience, and this might not be the experience of everybody, but in my experience, Orlando has a lot of like chain restaurants, and that's not my vibe on vacation. I want to go to like a, beachfront place or like real seafood, those kind of things. And in my experience, Orlando just doesn't have as many of those. So we really saved the restaurants for Treasure Island specifically. So that was $178 that we spent. All right, and then the final section I have here is miscellaneous. So this is just random stuff or stuff that didn't really fit into the specific location categories. So first up here is airport parking. So we did have to park our car obviously at our home airport in Wisconsin. So that was $84 for the week. And then we also had a miscellaneous parking throughout our whole trip. So that was $70. We had to pay like $30 to park at Disney. We had to pay like $15, I think, to park at the Orlando Science Center. And there was one other thing that I can't remember right now why we had to pay to park, but we had just miscellaneous parking. The next category is flights. Normally this would be a very expensive thing. We are a family of 5. We all 5 have to buy tickets now. Last year, my son was under 2, so he didn't need a ticket. This year, we needed 5 tickets. So this would normally be a very, very expensive thing. However, my husband and I kind of travel hack a little bit. We're not like super intense about it. I know a lot of people like on Instagram are really like intensive with like their travel hacking, and they have spreadsheets and like all these different credit cards. Like we have 2 credit cards that we use. I will link them in the bio if you guys want to check them out. We use 2 different credit cards. They're both Chase. One of them is our Southwest credit card, and one of them is just like a Chase Rewards credit card. The Chase Rewards credit card we use for only sinking fund expenses. I like to just have that card as only sinking funds. So I pay that card directly from our savings account. So whenever we have like any of our sinking funds, Christmas spending, sports for the kids, or, you know, any of those things, that all comes off that one card. And then our like everyday, everything, literally everything that we can put on a credit card. I'm talking childcare. I'm talking, you know, any spending, groceries, restaurant, literally everything we put on that Southwest card. And because we rack up so many points every year, we typically fly for free. So we only paid $55 for our flights for our family of 5. That is just the fees that you have to pay. There's no getting around that. At least I don't think so. You have to pay like those fees in cash, and it's like $11 per person. So it was $55 for us to pay for our flights. Incredible. It probably would have cost us like a few $1,000s if we would have had to pay for it. Now, another strategy we use with this is to try to get the cheapest flights. So we do fly out at like some undesirable times. Like I said, when we left at like 4 o'clock in the morning because our flight was at 6 o'clock. So you have to kind of maybe be willing, if you want to save points or save money, to fly out at like some undesirable times. But it was worth it to us to be able to get cheaper flights and not have to spend as many points. We like barely had enough points for the flights that we did get, and so it was like really scraping the bottom. But super grateful that we have that card and that we're able to typically fly free. Yeah, we were able to fly free last year as well, and we just keep racking up points as the months pass. So it is really awesome. And next up is tolls. So we had some miscellaneous tolls from driving around Orlando and, you know, the greater Florida area. So $36 is what we spent on tolls. As I said, we spent a lot of money on groceries. We spent $300. This was half of the groceries that we got. So we spent about $600 on groceries on this trip for 1 week. But, you know, of course, there was like a lot of things. We bought like extra sunscreen and a bunch of like random stuff that we normally wouldn't buy on a grocery order here necessarily. And we also got like some treat things, like we got the kids ice cream, and just like, it was one of those grocery hauls where it was like, whatever you want. Like, you want cosmic brownies? Throw it in the bag. You want ice cream? Throw it in the bag. Because no matter what, it was going to be cheaper than us eating out. And so keep in mind that my sister is a family of 6 and I am a family of 5. So we had 11 people on this vacation. So $600 for a week I thought was pretty reasonable. So yeah, $300 for us for our portion of that. And like I said, we did eat a lot at home. We ate a lot. We packed lunches when we went to Disney. We ate at home when we were on the beach. Primarily, we did, like I said, we did go to these 2 restaurants here, but otherwise we ate at home. We had breakfast at home every single day. It's just a way for us to save money. And to me, it's worth it, especially because we have such a large group. Like, it was very challenging last year to find places to go that could like accommodate a party of 11, especially during like spring break. So it was honestly easier that way. We still ate really well. Like I said, we got like a bunch of treats. It was fun. It wasn't just like eating, you know, sandwiches every single day. It was like fun food and, you know, grilling out and stuff like that. So that is what we did for groceries. Our rental car was $445. That was for the week. And then we also had our rental car gas, which was $65. We filled it up twice, like once middle way through and then once again before we returned it. So that is all of our spending for this trip. And I was actually really shocked. Like, I kind of let go a little bit while we were there. I did not track anything while we were there. Like, I was just like enjoying the vacation. Didn't really know how much this was going to add up to. If you guys watched my video last year, it's actually a little bit cheaper this year. So the total that we spent this year was $4,960 for the whole week. I know that's probably maybe a lot to some of you, maybe not a lot to others. I think it's really personal. I think that for doing Disney one of the days, this was actually really affordable. I thought that we would spend more money this year than we did last year, but we actually spent a little bit less. And I think a lot of it is because last year we spent like closer to $400 at restaurants. And so we really cut that down. And yeah, it was such a fun trip. Highly recommend both of those areas if you guys haven't been to Florida. And it was really awesome. And I don't regret a single penny of our spending, although it, like, looking back on it, I'm like, holy cow, like that is so expensive. But it was such an amazing experience, and I just love being able to give our kids this experience. I did not travel much at all, actually, really, when I was growing up. The first time I was on a plane was when I was 18 years old. So I love being able to give my kids the experiences that I didn't have growing up, and especially traveling with my sister and her family is so incredibly special to me. And to give my kids those memories is truly priceless. So hope you guys enjoyed this look into our travel budget. Let me know in the comments down below, have you gone anywhere this year, or are you going anywhere this year? I would love to hear about your travel plans. And what do you think about this spending? Is this more than you thought, less than you thought? I would love to hear your opinions and comments down below. And I will talk to you guys on Friday for Debt Free Friday. Bye guys.